Well, an upcoming live and local show is taking place March 21st at the Washington Pavilion. Joining us this morning to discuss the show is local poet, artist, and educator Xavier Pastrano. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much.
Okay, so tell us about this upcoming show you have.
Sure, yeah. So it's at the Washington Pavilion in the Belbus Theater, part of their live and local series. And so this series features local performers to kind of, I guess, celebrate just the diversity of art that we have here in Sioux Falls. So my particular performance is I'm a poet, and so it's going to be a spoken word poetry performance. So one thing I'm trying to do with that is I'm trying to make it a little different. It's not going to be your typical poetry reading. There is a difference between poetry and spoken word, and with spoken word it tends to be a little more performative. And so with my particular performance, we're going to have a full band on stage. We're going to have lights, we're going to have visuals, and essentially it's a concert, but instead of singing, it'll be me reciting some of my original poetry over music that I've created with some friends, some musicians. So.
Okay. Well, how would you say your poetry, kind of the style of it that you typically lean towards?
So as far as content, I mean, I'm inspired by just my life, things going on in the world, things that I see, my career, being a teacher. And so as for, again, like the content that I write is kind of everything. But then as far as the style goes with this particular spoken word performance, it definitely has rhythmic. It's a little more influenced by hip hop culture, and then even too, like I've played in like a variety of bands in the past, so it's got a little bit of rock, a little bit of hip hop, but definitely a rhythmic experience. So
how did your passion for poetry really start?
Sure. So it started in high school, really, with songwriting. I've always been really big into music, and so it started off with writing acoustic songs for my band in high school. Then I also had teachers who gave me the opportunity to kind of branch out my writing skills and do creative poetry projects. But it wasn't until I got into college and I took some poetry workshops. Changed my major to creative writing, and that's when I really got into the craft of writing poetry. Branching out from like writing my own poetry and reading poetry by other local poets and nationally recognized poets. And so yeah, once college came around, that's when I really got into it. So.
Yeah, I guess for you, how great is it that Sioux Falls is such a welcoming community for the arts and just different things like that?
Absolutely, yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's definitely one of the most welcoming and accepting cities, I feel like. I mean, as far as like celebrating local, diverse artwork, but then also providing artists with the opportunity to share their artwork. I mean, there's, as a local artist, musician, there are local staples here that we want to play, we want to perform at, and so like the Pavilion is one of them. And so the fact that the Pavilion is giving local artists the opportunity to perform on stage, it's huge. It means everything. It's very validating as an artist.
And again, real quick, when is this, and then how can people get tickets?
Sure. So the event is Thursday, March 21st at 7:30 p.m. And you can get tickets at the Washington Pavilion at the box office or online at washingtonpavilion.org.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we'll be right back after the break.